Hello everybody. Oh, got my headphones on still, hold on. There we go. Take them off. Don't need those. Right, Black Magic Society, Castle, Richard, Jono. Hello, hello. Welcome. Thanks for joining. How's everybody's week been? And Kerry, hello, hello. Cold and wet where you guys are. That's not good. It's hot here. I've got the fan on. Oh, it's I think it's officially summer where we are. Or where I am. How's everybody doing? Crazy busy as always, hoping for rain so we can cool. I don't think we're going to be getting much rain soon. Oh, that's a dream. Oh, I've got a very itchy nose. Uh, Jono, I thought I would be able to hear you in the shower. I was wrong. Why would I be in the shower? What do you mean, my fan? I've got the noise suppression. Well, yeah, the noise suppression on the Streamlabs on the mic. So no showers today. Zanka, welcome. Thanks for joining. Right, anything anybody wants to talk about? Castle takes him fast. No, you lost me there. Takes what? Takes who fast? I obviously can't like keep up conversations or anything like that. Terrible, isn't it? Read the message above. Which one? I read all the messages. Hold on. Let me change the live chat. I've got it on top chat. And it may have missed it. If something went through and I didn't see it, just do a repeat. I mean, there was Jono's that said I thought I would be able to hear you in the shower. Well, I was wrong. Be back soon. He's grabbing a beer. All I've got. Kerry is suing the USDA Secretary Brooke Rollins for a Hatch Act violation. Mia Nagaras are pumped. Cool. Hope that goes well for you. Richard, I might have to do my rain dance. This heat is insane. It is a bit, yeah. And it's only the start of it. So, you know, get ready. Let's see if we can see the rest of the forecast for the week. I don't think there's any rain, unfortunately. So, yeah, you definitely have to do your rain dance. Oh. Well, that's taking forever. Hang on. You know. I suppose I can give everybody a rundown of what's going to be on the channel next month. Just now, I just want to check for rain. Let's see. No, no. Wednesday might have a wee bit, but it'll probably change by Wednesday. I don't think we're going to have much luck. Sorry, Richard. Break your heart, don't I? Let's see. Alright, so the first Punk Magic video of the month is going to be Sacred Rage and Punk Devotion. It's actually a cool one. I like that one. It's all about taking your rage and actually transmuting it into something you can use in magic, so that was cool. Jersey Shore Shark Attack. Hello, hello. Thanks for joining. Punk Rock Mage here. Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, we need more punks. Then I have Neuroplasticity and Magic. The Toltec Concepts Path series is coming to an end. It's Controlled Folly this month, but that's the last of it. I'm going to be starting a new one, and I'm doing an introduction to that, which is going to be called The Living Current. It's going to be a 12-part series, so I'll go over 12 months. It's all about chi, energy flow, all of that stuff. So we'll talk about that. And then the second Punk Magic video is Bind Bigots, Blast. Sorry, let me try it again. Bind Bigots, Blast Billionaires. There you go. I've got it out. Jersey, I have the biggest punk band in Pensacola, Florida. Cool. We'll have to go listen to them. Let me go to your channel. Is it on your channel or is it somewhere else? Okay, got it over here. Oh, yeah, hold on, let's just have a listen. Let's have a listen. Channels. On internet work. All right, I'm going to put your link on in the chat in case anybody else is interested. And maybe that'll help you out a bit. The channel is called Scene Pensacola. Oh, so I've got Jersey Shore Shark Attack here. Is that not the right one? Hang on, let me go have a look. He said, although you might have to type in Jersey Shore Shark Attack band because there's a silly movie called that as well. Right. Have I got the right channel there though? Just click on that link, let me know if that's the right one. That brings me back to the same one. Let me just try this and see what it gives me. Oh, Scene Pensacola. Is that the one? Hang on, let me go there. Uh, okay, I think this is the one. Scene Pensacola is our local music scenes channel. Okay, I'm just going to put that one on as well. I found that one. Especially for anybody who's in, Pensacola, Florida. There you go. Okay. Jono's back and very clean. Well, you clunked beer mugs together, or did you, like, pour beer over you and have a wash or something? Richard said going to check it out after the live, enjoy some good punk music. Yeah. Actually, talking about that, I've weird thing. I don't know if you guys remember. I've had a new punk band contact me. They've just released their first EP. They were called Heka, and I was actually thinking about them this week, and thinking if we should do something, but I wasn't sure what to do together. And then they emailed me yesterday and said that they were thinking that we need to do something together, but they don't know what. So I've actually emailed them just before I came on the live and said, we should maybe just hop on a Zoom call and have a chat, and I'll record it and upload it. So might do that. See what happens. Jono, no, spilt beer, just my monthly shower. Okay, all right. Okay. As long as it was with beer and not water, then we're okay. All right, let me close that. Bringing up my bloody internet. And close that as well. Okay. Jersey, I've been learning tarot. That's cool. I think it's very important to learn divination and to learn at least two types of divination, because you often need to actually check. Um, if you're using one method, you can use the other method to check. So that's cool. And Black Magic Society is late. You were the first one here, so where did you go to? Jersey said I have a Diablo themed deck like the game. Oh, cool. I haven't seen that. I'm not a tarot person myself, so I don't really collect these decks, but they are pretty to look at. Diablo theme. Let's see what we've got in images. Jersey, I can't tell you how excited I was when I seen your video about magic. That's cool. I'm glad, yeah. No, funny enough, it was actually a while back. I'll actually try and see if I can find the date of it. There was a chaos magician that wrote a book called Punk Magic, but it wasn't really about anarchy and stuff. It was just he was trying to bring the concepts of DIY aspects and things like that into chaos magic. I've got a feeling that's why so many people, well, so many people, there are only three people, who kind of commented on my last Punk Magic post about it being the same as Chaos Magic. Or maybe they all read the same book and came at the same time. I don't know. It was weird. But yeah, so my idea was a bit different. Castle, but Santa Marte work has been good. That's good. I know you do love Santa Marte. So I'm just looking at this Diablo themed deck. I can't really see a lot in these images, but it does look cool. It's very red and black and white. I do like. I love those colours. So very neat. Anyway, yes, all right. I was going to check on that magic book. Jono said, Jersey, that's really cool. Tarot is a cool thing. I had to let you know how many decks my wife has, which I have to estimate in metric tons. Jersey, what do you think about Libanol? I think it's a great book. Especially as an introduction to chaos magic, Libanol and Psychonaut. Um, their instruction, their step-by-step instruction manuals basically for how to get started. So, starting with your meditation, your concentration, focus, visualization, all that stuff. So, yeah, I think it's really, really, really good. Kerry Tarot of Ceremonial Magic, a pictorial synthesis of three great pillars of magic by Lon Milo Duquette, has all the Goetia demon associations I've heard. Yeah, I watched an interview with him recently. I do like Lon Milo Duquette, but he seems to have gone on the kind of what not totally, but on the edgelord clipotic ramble, and I don't know. For him, I would have expected a bit more. Although he is a follower of Crowley and Spellino, so probably fits in there quite well. What was I looking for? I was looking for the book. Yeah, book. Punk Magic. Okay, I'll get there eventually. Um, if I remember where. Oh, there it is. Because I'll still read that one. Oh no, it's not in that folder. Okay, oh, it's probably in Chaos Magic. If you can't hear me, just let me know. I'm probably mumbling to myself. Um, yeah. Jersey, what are your thoughts on psychic vampirism? I think it's a valid practice and a valid tradition. I do think a lot of people kind of have taken it to the fantastical realms. But I mean, back in the day, I knew two psychic vampires that lived in England. They were amazing guys. They really were, and they were ethical. I did meet some that were not ethical, and yeah, I didn't like them very much. But these two guys they were brilliant. I loved them to bits. They were great guys. Where the hell is this book? Hold on. And now I'm going on a hunt. Not even here. Okay, I'm gonna go somewhere else. Black Magic Society, Hermetic Tarot, Radiant Rider, Elder. I'm assuming that's Futhark. And the Gale Owen. Hermetic Tarot is my go-to number one tarot. Yeah, I know you do like to collect your tarot as well. Okay, fine. Magic. Like that. Okay, here's the book, and it was published in 2021. I don't even know why I was looking for that now. Yeah. It's a worthwhile book reading. It's an interesting book if you're interested in chaos magic and just purely chaos magic. But as I said, it didn't really embrace what punk really is. It just kind of took a few surface level concepts and kind of mashed it together with chaos magic and then tried to explain chaos magic. So very kind of intro stuff that I didn't really find it much worth, to be honest. Um, but I actually came across that book while I was studying or trying to find out more information about techno paganism. This one comes up. It's Punk Magic by Tom Swiss, and it was quite interesting because if you actually look into techno paganism, who was that dude who he did a ritual in the 80s, um, where he kind of took servers and put them on the four quarters, and then there was like this cables coming from the servers and creating this whole chaos sphere and everything else. It was really cool. I'd love to have been to that ritual. I just want to find his name. I don't know if this is interest to anybody. I'm just rambling at the moment. It's probably going to be in that article. Let me carry on with the chats in the meantime. Jono, psychic vampirism is real. It's that old lady at the flea market that won't let you leave and keeps talking. Most of them don't even know they're doing it. Well, it's a lot of old people, to be honest with you. Old people and sick people tend to be psychic vampires, and they don't know they're doing it. They don't do it to harm anybody. It's just that they are sick and they are weak and they take your energy. So, I mean, if you do work in an old age home or something like that, you're going to an old age home to visit somebody, just make sure you've got your shields and your wards and your protections and talismans and amulets and all that stuff with you to kind of block it off. Otherwise, you're going to walk out there every day and be completely wrecked. Um, it's something they need. It's for their own. Oh, here we go. Sorry, get back to the techno paganism thing. The guy's name was Mark Pesh. He was brilliant. I love that stuff. Anyway, okay. All right. So let's get back to the chat. Yeah. So old people and also very very sickly people are often will drain energy from you because they need it just to kind of stay alive. Jersey, I think that somehow inadvertently by becoming the lead singer of a well-known punk band, I've become a psychic vampire. You would, yes. But this is a journey I've been on my whole life. I was raised by a lady that practiced voodoo growing up New Orleans, working on Bourbon Street as a bartender. She raised me on voodoo. Cool. Yeah, you'll probably find that when you're on stage, you're going to get a lot of energy, and the crowds, and especially in a punk scene, especially if you've got a mosh pit going, you're going to have a lot of people generating a crap load of energy, and they're going to be directing at you because you are the focal point. So my suggestion would actually be to use this in the same sense as you might use a hyper sigil, which is very kind of art based and stuff, and performance art and stuff like that. Take the energy and put it into something that you can then direct it to. Taking down the patriarchy, taking down the fucking government, whatever it is, exposing the stupidity and the ignorance of these people. Um, you know, so kind of like each performance you do, each time you get on stage, have an intention. You can create a sigil around it. You can put the sigil on as a banner on the stage. And if you want to let everybody know, great. They all get involved in magic, and the whole crowd just generates a whole shitload of energy directed at you. You become the channel that sends it out to the intention. That would be a great way to use it, really would, and a powerful way to use it. If you're not used to doing something like that, you're going to need some practice, obviously. Just make sure you don't uh, it doesn't channel through you and you don't get too drained yourself. What will probably happen is you'll become too energized and you're going to have to ground. After a show, you're going to have to ground, and if if the if there's another band that comes on after your band, then great, then get into the crowd and start dancing as well and going crazy and get all that energy out, push it, direct it. So yeah, there's a whole lot of stuff you can do with that. That would be brilliant. I would love to do that. I'm getting too old now. Uh, Bavi Mordka, hello, hello. You had an experience in the forest, in fact, in bed after the forest, but it was interesting. I repeated one sentence with a question like a mantra, and I think I got the answer, but I'm not sure. Oh, sorry, you also said, I asked what should I do to cease to exist after death and not have to reincarnate. In my dream, I saw a naked woman's body in a pond. Sharp black roots sprang from the bottom to catch her, and from above, a fiery arm grabbed her body and held her in the water so she could breathe, but there was a condition. If she broke the rule, she would be pulled underwater and die. Okay. All right. If you want to cease existing after your death and not reincarnate, you're going to have to do a whole lot of, well, a whole lot of work, because that's going to be, you know, reaching nirvana. What's the terminology? I can't even think. In Toltec warrior path, it's bypassing the ego, becoming a linear being. That's, you've got to recap your entire life. So that ego doesn't consume your awareness upon death. So that's that's a lifetime's worth of stuff. Jersey, that reminds me of technomancy or cyber magic. Yes, yeah, it's exactly it. Jono, you still play music during streams? I got in the name of my rage against the machine now after this conversation. I actually stopped doing it because for some reason I was like, if YouTube kind of gives you your subscriber count, it shows it on the studio home screen, gives you a subscriber count for the past 28 days, right? And it was going like 250 to 300 a month, and then all of a sudden it started plummeting, going down. It's now on like 130, 140, but I've still got more subscribers. So I couldn't figure out why my algorithm was being affected. So I tried a few things, they didn't work. I thought maybe, I mean, I don't get copyright strikes. It does kind of notify me to say that I cannot monetize, which I don't monetize these lives anyway. Got no interest in doing that. And then any resources or funds that get made, you know, from the videos will go to the people whose music I play on the thing. So it's not like it affects my channel or anything, but I didn't know if it was, so I stopped playing the music in the background. I'll probably add it again. I need to go and find. There was that little widget I had that kind of showed what was playing at the time. I need to go find that again. I think it's on. I can, however, play that song for you if you want, because I have set up the. And you've got to listen to Rage because that's the Portland Frog music. Put in the name. Here we go. Let's put my Spotify thing on, and then we'll play a song. Oops, not that one. This one. Let's see if it does anything. What bloody hell going on? There we go. Okay. Well, I hope that's not too loud. I haven't checked volumes. Let me know if it's too loud or whatever. All right. Black Magic Society. I'm catalyst for psychic activity, but as far as psychic vampirism, my guides protect me from. I love the song. Sorry. My guides protect me from such nonsense. Yes, I mean, there's a variety of different ways you can protect against psychic vampirism, and quite often it is your guides, your wards, you know. Jersey, sometimes we become psychic vampires in defense. Absolutely, yeah, that's totally possible. Jono Samsara, that was it. Thank you. I was thinking of Moksha, actually, I think. Jersey, you're going to have to have me wanting to make a Punk Magic channel now. Go for it. Absolutely. You know, you can talk about your experiences on stage and stuff, and you can actually take what you're doing and turn it into magic. Find all the different ways you can actually form it into magic, in order to have an effect, and then you can talk about that. Sure, go for it. Black magic algorithm, algorithms, hemorrhage green album. Okay. It's a pleasure. Castle. Oh no, I'm not going to even try and say those. You keep giving me these names to try and get me to pronounce them, but I'm going to actually try. Okay. If I get it wrong, excuse me. All Mexican people. Mixtlantecutli and Mictaca. Wait, Mictacaquihuatl. Mictacaquihuatl. There you go. These two will be easier for you to work with than the Santa Muerte. Okay, that's if you want to work with them. That'd be more cool. Casso, everyone is a psychic vampire. When we talk to others, we feed off each other to keep conversation flowing. Yeah, there is that to it, but I think, you know, when we're talking about psychic vampires, we're talking about people who are taking excess energy because they have to. When we're talking about psychic vampires, we're actually talking about people who often don't have a choice. Yes, there are situations, like Jersey said, you know, sometimes it's in defense. But usually it's because they have no choice. They are lacking something, and they aren't able to get the same sustenance as we do from food. So they need to feed on energy. And there are ethical ways to do that. And also coming back to, you know, sickly people and elderly people, they have a very low level of energy because they are sickly and elderly, and therefore the natural instinct to take energy kicks in order to stay alive. So this is about, it's not like a kind of like, you get, as I said, you get a lot of people who kind of take it as a lifestyle, you know, it's a lifestyle choice. It's not usually a lifestyle choice for these people, it's a necessity. I mean, the two guys I know in the UK, they couldn't live unless they did it, but ethically they did it by, well, usually either going to shows, going to clubs, and actually just sort of raking off the excess energy. But every night, I know the one guy, every night he used to kind of astrally project himself above his town. And as everybody was kind of winding down for the evening and going to sleep, they would release excess energy from the day. And that energy would kind of float around and collect like a net. And he would he would put a net across, and he would like gather all of that excess energy, which would have been wasted otherwise. So he wasn't drawing directly from people. He did have people that he did draw from, but it was only small amounts here and there. But this is what he would do. He would like take the excess energy and feed on that. All right, there you go, Jono. You happy now? Portland Fog has been released. Yeah, I'll set this up for next week, I think. Let's just get that little widget for the now playing thing. All right. Jersey, that's awesome as fuck. Exactly. Okay. Good stuff. Very more at the moment. Any practice is dangerous for me, of course, taking into account that Vedic astrology says about my day of birth. Okay. Black magic. I listen to Chaosium a lot. Love their song Unreal. Cool. Let's try. Right, I'm quiet again now. Here we go. Baby Morka, are you planning any videos about Brujeria, Cochrane Magic, Stragaria, Booker for All Souls Day? I wasn't, no. But why would you talk about those particular things on All Souls Day? Wouldn't you would talk about Samhain rather? I'm not sure why you're targeting just those ones. That's quite a mixture as well. I mean, Brujeria is South American, Cochrane is English, Stragaria is Italian, Buca is an entity in usually for the cunning folk down south in England. So, interesting combination there, I must say. Black Magic, Irish origins of Samhain. Oh, there is something I saw on about Samhain. I think it was yesterday, and I had to comment. I usually don't comment on people's videos and stuff, especially on TikTok. I'm like, I'll just leave them to their own devices. You know, one day they'll figure it out maybe. But I just had to because this woman was talking about Samhain, but everything else right, but starts off by saying that Samhain means November, and it doesn't. It means summer's end. I mean, that's the translation. You know, the etymology of the word is summer's end. But apparently, modern linguistic interpretation is now considering it to be or to mean November, but it's only because Samhain is in November. And the problem is we now have witches all over the world. It's not Samhain for me where I am in the southern hemisphere. It's Beltane. So therefore, Samhain for me is not in November. So it cannot mean November. And I was trying to get this across. You know, they're all like, yes, but it does mean November. I'm like, that's a modern linguistic interpretation, and it's false. It's wrong. We have witches all over the world. Let's move beyond that now. So I thought it was quite interesting, actually. But yeah, never heard that before until yesterday that Samhain means or translates to November. That was interesting. Let's see. Bowen Walker said Brujeria and Brooks. I don't know even how to pronounce that then. Is not the same. Okay, let's have a look. Black Magic said last of the harvest, beginning of the dark half of the year. Yeah, I mean it's basically marks the beginning of winter, which is why it's summer's end. So you're switching. It's the axis. Samhain and Beltane are the axis of the year, where you know the veil is the thinnest and all that stuff. So it's summer's end, beginning of winter. All right, let's have a look here. Brew area. No, that's not how you spell it. Lee. Get it right. Okay, well, when I tried Brujeria with an H, it just forces me to Brujeria with a J. All right, so that's not going to give me much. And Brooks area. Brooks. Isn't that just there is I wouldn't know how to pronounce it, but it's spelled Brooks area. Oh no, it's Brooks area. There we go. So that's in Spanish, I think. Yeah, so that's all in Spanish. So I can't read that unless I go to translation. Can I have a translation, please? No, not giving me. I don't know. Oh, with an I, Brooks area. Let's have a look at that one. That's forcing. Oh no, wait, we've got this here. Oh, here we go. Is the Catalan word for witchcraft from Catalonia. Okay. Right, now I know what my geography is terrible, so I have to go and look at for where Catalonia is. Look, there we go. Barcelona. Oh, so that's Andorra. So that's Spanish as well. That's interesting. Oh, so we've got Strigaria, which is Italian, and then I don't know how to pronounce it. Sorry, Bruxeria, which is would then be Spanish, I assume. That's interesting. Cool. Thank you. Didn't know that. Castor, Persephone is going to Hades finally, and Demeter is going to cry, and the corpse will die. The crops will die. Yes, yes, it's that time of year. For you, not for me. Yeah, Persephone has to go to the underworld. Yeah. Jersey, the Grindcore band. Which one are we at? Where are we now? I lost that conversation, sorry. Oh, is that? I don't know. That was what Black Magic was talking about. James, hello, James. How is everyone doing? I think we're all doing well. I keep losing the conversations as per usual. It's quite interesting because I like to see all the chat, and um I don't know who's talking to me and who's talking to other people half the time. And there's like 4 or 5 different conversations going on at the same time. So I kind of get lost sometimes. Right. Gavin Wardca's gonna give me some. What are you gonna give me? Castle, I've been thinking about working with Jorgamander again since I work with Fenrir. Cool. You work with a lot of spirits from a lot of different pantheons, I've got to say. Although you are Alexandrian, if I remember correctly. Alexandrian Wiccan as well, apart from the Native American aspect. Not sure. Can't remember. Um, Jersey, Brujeria is a Mexican grindcore band. That would be one aspect of the word of the title. It's an entire system of magic as well. I didn't know that though. Cool. Right, I'm gonna have to now go and find this band because I'm gonna have to listen to them afterwards. Black Magic. I'm having a seriously horrendous MS flare-up. Ouch. My ass is kicked worse than ever. I'm working with my Beltines and Green Remedy. Cool. Sorry you have to go through that through a flare-up. That's not nice at all. I think bands need to stop naming themselves after magical systems because when you go searching for information, you come up with all the wrong websites. It's like games with magic. Um, You go search for something or search for the name of try and get information on a demon from one of the grimoires, and you just come up with like game sites over and over and over again. I see this band. There's a lot of music about marijuana. That's cool. Castle. You are correct. Alexandria and Wiccan, Natchez, Tribe, Medicine Man, and Shelter Gypsies. But the magic and energy are to me really similar, but also different. Cool. Cool. Uh, they're into black magic. Well, that's good. As long as they're actually doing the magic, that's much better. Yeah, I'll have to go listen to them afterwards. I didn't tell you movies and books that the book that I'm doing reviewing next month is Feasting from the Black Cauldron by Amaranthus. Not sure how I felt about that book, to be honest. It was good, but if you're not going to join their specific clan and coven, most of it's irrelevant. So it's a good book, but yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I'll review that next month. Um, Andrea's here. Hello, Andrea. Sorry for being late. We're just in the car driving back from Penwith. Okay, drive safe then. Oh, and the movies. I'm doing Hereditary and The Ninth Gate this month, or next month, November. Ivy Mordka, Julia Carreras Chort is a researcher and author residing in the Pyrenees of Spain, where she is a practitioner of Metzineria and See, I keep on wanting to say brujeria, but I'm not sure it's the same pronunciation, so I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Um, Land of Goat, Witchcraft in the Pyrenees. Is that a book? There it is. Castle says, "I pray the Lady watches over you and protects you, Andrea." Yes, absolutely. Um, cool. There's too many books to read. Can't keep up anymore. Khalid, hello. For obsession spell, is it safe for both parties? Take target well. Um, it can be safe. It might not appear to be very ethical, if I can put it that way. And I say that because if you look at the older spells, I mean, if I do an obsession spell, it's going to be from the PGM. And what you find is, especially in the PGM, is that you're actually calling on. There's actually two or three in the PGM. One of them calls on Selene, the moon goddess in Greek mythology. Another one calls on. It was a lunar working, but you're doing cursing at the end of the day. I mean, one of them actually uses Defixiones, which is a curse tablet. So what you're actually doing is you are you are asking the gods, or the various deities, to send spirits to torment the target until they actually come to you. And that's what an obsession spell and a love spell in that regard actually involves. You know, for many, many people, that is extremely unethical, and I agree. But you know, people want it, they're willing to do it, so that's your everybody else's problem. But yeah, that's basically what it boils down to, is that you are causing the person, the target that you want to become obsessed with you, to be tormented by dreams, um, keeping them awake, basically crazy, crazy shit until they actually agree to come to you. So it's torture, actually, to be totally honest with you. So that's what you're looking at. Alistair is driving. Good stuff. Don't you not, Andrea? Because you're chatting away on your texting. Jersey, you'll dig them. They have punk attitude for sure. It was awesome listening to them in defiance of the immigration troubles here in America. Okay, yeah, I'll definitely give them a listen. Andrea, thanks. Castle, Richard, safe travels. Jersey, you'll see what I mean when you see their discography. Yeah, I see kind of severed heads and stuff. Altars, yeah, stuff like that. Yeah. Andrea, thank you, Richard. I'm an anxious passenger. Don't worry, you'll be fine. You've got lots of prayers coming your way. Khaled, for obsession spell, what is the expected warnings? Um, well, consider obsession. You are wanting a person to become obsessed with you, and straightforward, normal terms, obsession usually becomes possession. They become very possessive, and they will not let you out of their sight. They will track you down. They will probably put an app on your phone without you knowing to make sure they know where you are at all times. You will not be allowed to speak to anybody but them. They're going to isolate you, basically. Um, they basically become parasitic. You know, the obsession just becomes possessive, and just it can become very, very dangerous. Yeah. Andrea is very dangerous. I made that mistake once, never again. Yeah, absolutely. Black Magic Society and Egyptian magic, we would write it out on our hands and on a scroll, burn the scroll after 3 days, wash the charm off your hand, all done in the name of Jetuti or Weratheka. I'm sure it's a bit more involved than that. Happy Morka. I think that for any occasion, end of year, Samhain, whatever you want, you should do an interview with Julia Carreras taught about her craft. Yeah, apart from suggesting to Hector that I do an interview with them, I actually don't really want to do interviews, to be honest. I don't know. I'm a very shy person. Might not look it, but I am a very shy person. I am very introverted, and so I find it very difficult to talk to people I don't know. College. Oh, sorry, Andrea at college. That's a very dangerous spell, and I would know. Black magic. Yes, way more in depth. I'm sure it is. Dragons. Yeah, hello, dragon. Black Mewtwo. Yeah. Andrea ended up with a boyfriend who hated being with me, but obsessed by me, became abusive to me. Yeah, it's usually the case. Um, but, people want it. I'm not going to argue with that. I've wanted some things in my life that are absolutely silly. So can't really judge other people for this type of stuff, but that's the truth of the matter. Black Magic, INTJ, personality type here. Total hermit, introvert, happy by myself every day. Oh, me too, absolutely. Bavimorka interviews are good. We also are introverted and ADHD and ACDC. That's why we need interviews on YouTube. Oh, so you're going to put me through the torment and torture. I see. I see how this goes now. All right. No, I get it. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I will in the future. Andrea, never again. Yeah. Right. What's the topic now? Yeah. Yeah. Not a lot of people here today. That's okay though. All the usual. The usual crowds here. That's good. Oh, you know what I am getting into at the moment is I read Sarah L. Mastros's book, Sorcery of Solomon. It's about the 44 planetary pentacles from the Greater Key of Solomon. Loved it. I'm now gotten into using the pentacles. I've always been interested in the pentacles and not the Greater Key of Solomon really, but the pentacles. But it's been one of those situations where you kind of like don't really know how to use them because there isn't enough information. Um, but Mastros's book is brilliant. It's amazing. I'm actually going to review that end of December. So now I've gotten into the Pentacles, using it for almost everything for myself. Brilliant. um, Andrea College, self-love and confidence spell would be much better. The thing is, I've said this for years and years and years, and I know, you know, if somebody wants to do an obsession spell, they must do an obsession spell. As I said, I'm not going to judge anybody for what they want to do. I mean, it's like doing pacts for people. For so long, I always used to say, you shouldn't ask other people to do a pact for you for a spirit or a demon because it's a very personal thing. It should be one-on-one. You learn how to do it yourself. And then people come to me and they say, "Do you do pacts?" And I'm like, "No," and I explain why. And they don't. They just go somewhere else, and some edgelord who scams them out of their money, and then just connects them to some whole load of bullshit and everything else. Which is why I've started doing pacts and all of these other spells because I'd rather do it for people than send them off to somebody who they're going to get taken advantage of. Um, so if somebody wants an obsession spell, they'll get an obsession spell. Uh, Hang on, I lost my place. Black Magic wanted to make caramel popcorn balls with candy corn in them today. Raining heavily today. That sounds interesting and fun. Why did that just switch on? I turned it off. I'm going to check that later. Walker, what to ask? Maybe about meditation without an object and how to do it without thinking about anything but without falling into a stupor. I would focus on your breath. It's usually the easiest direction to go with that is focus on the breath and the expansion and contraction of your belly. A good area to actually look into with that would be Zen Buddhism. Because there's a huge focus on the lower dantian, the belly. In Zen Buddhism, they believe that's where all the power gets collected. So, they kind of like breathe in and out, contract and expand the belly as you breathe. And they've also got various different breathing techniques, like bamboo technique, where you kind of you you break the in breath and the out breath up. You kind of like when you're breathing out, it's like an out, and then you stop, and then out, and stop, and then out, and stop, and then the same as you're doing in, and it actually helps the breath and the breath techniques. Quite interesting. Yeah, I would actually focus on the the breath and the expansion and contraction of the belly. You'll find that after about the mark is about 18 minutes, but it varies. It could be 17 minutes, it could be 20 minutes, but it's around about the 18-minute mark. And it doesn't always happen, but you'll probably find that if you are doing just a normal breath technique, you hit that point where it's almost like a burst of awareness. And I've seen a flash of light. I have been places that I don't even know where I am. Um, you know, Funny people looking at me and telling me I'm not supposed to be there. It's like shifting into different realities and stuff. It's quite an interesting experience. And then after that, it happens around about every 10 minutes if you carry on meditation. One breath technique that I like to do myself when in that particular aspect is to take a slow breath in and then kind of like just plateau it, and it kind of like goes up, and then you let it out really, really slowly. And then when you've expelled the air, just stop, just suspend, but don't force it. So, you might find that you take a count of two and you have to take a breath in. That's fine, then do that. But what happens is, as your body starts to relax, and you start to become less conscious of your breathing, that that suspension just becomes longer and longer and longer, until eventually you go into this between state, this liminal state. You don't even know how long you haven't breathed for. It's very, very cool, very relaxing. Yeah, it's like a state of ecstasy. I don't know, try that. That's what I do. But breath is object, so then don't breathe. Don't do breath techniques. Just sit and don't think of anything. See if that works. But I can guarantee you, the breathing is going to be a lot easier. um, and you get to the same point at the end of it anyway. Um, Andrew, no judgment, just word and advising. Yeah, no, no, I get it. I really do. I really do. Andrea, on the motorway in the dark now, panicking. Of course not. No, don't worry. You'll be fine. Dragon, how does spirits, gods, and the universe view marriage and monogamy and polygamy? Because I've been obsessing unhealthy with this question and that marriages and relationships end. Um, I don't think they have much of an opinion on it, really. Polyamory, monogamy is actually quite kind of a natural for us, to be honest with you. Our societies were very polyamorous for until about, I think it was the Victorians just fucked everything up. They kind of got into this monogamy, and it was when the patriarchy kind of became the big thing. You have to get married within the church and in front of God, and you're only allowed to marry one person and all of that stuff. But we were we were all of us were societies of polyamory, so it really is kind of a natural. Um, I don't know. A lot of people will argue with me about that, and that's fine. But yeah, as far as the spirits and gods and all that stuff go, I don't think they would have much of an opinion. you'll probably find that they are polyamorous themselves. If you look into the myths and stuff, they are definitely polyamorous. So yeah, but why are you obsessing about it? I'm not a. I was married for 18 years. I got divorced. Will never get married again. I don't believe that. I don't think anybody needs to get married, to tell you the truth. But that's my opinion. Um, Andrew at Dragon OT. Oh, it's probably a laughing matter for them. It kind of is for us. There is that, yes. Babby Walker, marriage is one of the darkest pacts. I do know some very happily married people, I have to say that, but yeah, I'm not a marriage person myself. Uh, John had multiple wives, try one first. It's true. Um, yeah, black magic, self-amorous. Andrea, Jono, wait till 36 years. Goodness me. Yeah. But coming back to Dragon, if you are actually finding yourself in monogamous relationships because your partner is monogamous, um, you might find that you are actually polyamorous, which is possibly why your relationships are ending because you you're being forced into a situation that is not natural to you. I found this myself. Um, it took me many, 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 many years to come around to the fact that I am actually polyamorous. Um, because it's not normal in our Western society, our Christian upbringing, our Christian society. It's not something that it's something polyamory is frowned upon. It's considered to be perverse, and so we try to force ourselves into these situations that is not natural for our own nature. And I think we need to question these things and come to the realizations, if you are polyamorous, that you are polyamorous. And don't be ashamed of it. There's nothing, absolutely nothing to be ashamed of. Unfortunately, a lot of people misunderstand what it is. I mean, I've been told that I'm polyamorous, therefore I must sleep with every woman that I meet. No, definitely not. I rejected a woman once and she couldn't understand it because I said I'm polyamorous. I'm like, no, that's got nothing to do with it, It doesn't mean you're a slut or anything like that. It just means you like to love many people. So, but yeah, it's a very, very difficult topic for a lot of people. Let me get back to the chat. Black magic, then you only have to clean up for one. uh, I'm not sure what cleaning up you're talking about, but my brain just went to the gutter. Um, Andrea, black magic, me too. Dragon, I have an unhealthy OCD. It takes many forms. At first, I was worried that I might be homosexual, then offending God, burn in hell, then fear of abusing children, and now, hold on. Okay, I'm holding on. It sounds like you've been pushed into a lot of areas of guilt. Which can be very confusing for somebody who's trying to explore their sexuality. Um, okay, all right, I'm holding on. Black magic. Hello, Ulm. I was reading about the ancient Sumerian moon god cult and its influences on Judaism and Islam. It's all astrology and witchcraft. Oh, yes, absolutely. A lot of people kind of consider the Sumerian cults to have been like pre-Christian witchcraft. But yeah, the moon god was oh god, I've forgotten the moon god's name. No, no, was the daughter. I can't remember. Completely forgotten. You'll have to give me a reminder. Andrea, to be honest, I have no interest in relationships for my own company. Alistair is expendable. Oh, yeah, me too. I'm actually, especially at the moment, I'm done with relationships. Um, doesn't mean I'm not polyamorous, but I'm just preferring not to date anybody at the moment. Thanks very much. Dragon, I haven't been in a romantic relationship, but I think I want to have multiple wives, committed relationship, but haven't had one yet. Okay, then explore it. But it doesn't need to be wives. You don't need to get married to them. But you can be polyamorous, and there's a lot of different ways to be polyamorous. There are some people who like to create triplicity. There are some people who like to actually create units where you actually live with all the people. There are some that don't. They prefer to live by themselves but date multiple people who don't date each other. But there are some that they all date each other. There's a lot of different ways this can play out. So it's worth an exploration. Oh shit, I can't remember the name of that book. It was a really good book to read on the topic. I'll see if I can find it. Black Magic, I'm a one-on-one girl, not into men that want to dip their wick in every candle they see. It's a huge turn off for me. Yeah, it should be. Furthermore, polyamory, I'm probably a mono self-hater. Goodness. I don't know this word and system or so I don't like it here. ET wants to go home. Andrea, relationship equals overrated and hard work. Yeah. Kasim, hello Kasim. Good to see you and you. Also to add a comment, it may be interesting pagan gods were very influential in the founding of the Abrahamic religions. It was an evolution in human society at the time. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, you have to remember that Judaism was not a monotheistic religion. I still don't consider it to be monotheistic, to tell you the truth. But I mean, they worshipped a bull god to begin with, um, and it was very polytheistic. So it's. I think we kind of get this idea that Judaism is monotheistic from our understanding of Christianity and how that overlaps into Judaism. But there's also been a lot of evolution in Judaism over the few hundred, couple millennia, etc., um, time. Yeah. Jono Dragon, a young man trying to figure out sexuality is like the most common thing ever. I can't imagine a dude not spending the time trying to figure out what they're into and how they feel about it. Oh, there are so many who do not because they are manly men and they have to do it a certain way and they're only allowed to be interested in girls and they're only allowed to date one person and they have to do this and they have to do that and they're not allowed to cry. Don't show emotion because that's weakness. So fucked up. Our society is so screwed up. It is unbelievable. Don't even get me started with that. Oh God, I hate society. Um, it's name of Sin. There we go. Svin, yeah. Which is the cult then spread out from modern day Iraq to Turkey and Mecca. Yeah. There's a lot of from Turkey also. There's a lot of influence on the Greek there. In fact, it's said. I don't know if they've proven it. I haven't checked in a long time, but there was speculation that Hecate actually had temples and statues in Anatolia and Turkey. It kind of started there. I do believe it started way before then. I think Hecate worship is like really really old. But it kind of like started in Anatolia and then spread through to kind of went back and forth between there and Greece or something like that. Baby Mordecai, Andrea, do you think marriage is more difficult than ceremony? God. Oh, excuse me. Right, Andrea Damien. G-Labs, hello, hello. Play Enya only time. I'm gonna do or put Spotify back on next week. I just need to grab the widget to say what's playing now, because I don't think that was affecting my algorithm. Uh, God's Lonely Woman. Hello, hello. Polyamory doesn't work and isn't the natural human way, in my opinion. Our natural inclination is to pair bond, commit, and build family, marriage or no marriage. That's fine. Disagree with me. I don't mind. But yeah, if you look far back enough in history, you'll probably find that it is actually how our societies actually came together. There was family units and family bonds, and it wasn't just a nucleus family. Black Magic Society, creepy sea communes. Okay, don't know what that is. Dragons. So now the OCD thoughts are: is polyamory acceptable? Does it last? Is it for me? And now my thought compel me to think, if I don't figure this out, the rest of the world won't accept polyamory or polygamy. Like I said, crazy, tormenting thoughts. It's worthy of exploration, but don't beat yourself up. It could take years and years and years for you to decide, and you might find that you try it and it doesn't work for you, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Then go and explore what you think might work, and if that doesn't work, try the next thing. It's about experimentation, exploration. It's about trying to find who you are, and it's a very valuable thing to do. Um, but it's something you've got to do. Don't let other people tell you what you have to do. We are magicians, we are witches. So yeah. Bevan Walker, Modern Sex Magic, Secrets of Erotic Spirituality, only for people after marriage. Eh, I don't know. I think that book was actually. I'm sure that book went into group sex magic as well. I can't remember. Yes, okay, cool. I can't remember what we were talking about. As I said, I go through like trying to keep up with 3 or 4 different conversations. But cool. Andrea, totally agree with Lee. Society rules, damn silly. Yep. Black Magic Society. All that came from Islamic and other degenerate cultures. Are we talking about the monotheistic faiths? I think we were. Andrea, don't worry about what other people think. Judge, be yourself. Absolutely. Dragon, sorry for having my personal therapy here, and thanks to no, don't be sorry at all. It's definitely something. Look, I think if you are exploring, you're trying to find out where you fit. Talking to other people about it is an essential thing. It kind of gets it out. It externalizes it, and once you've externalized it, it becomes easier to deal with. If you keep it internal, you just keep going over the same cycle over and over and over again. You don't really get to a solution. So talking about it, whether anybody's got any advice at all, doesn't matter. As long as you're talking about it, as long as you're externalizing it, you often answer your own questions. So, talk, go for it. Bevin Walker, The Tiger Lily, Stupid Life, nice video, and comment about society. Okay, cool. Hang on. See if I can find this book. It used to be like the most popular. Yes, it's called More Than Two. I'll just get the author. Yeah. Is that the author? It's a dual author. Hang on. Let me get. There we go. Franklin Vo and Eve Rickert. Right. Okay, I'm going to copy that and paste it in. All right. If you're interested in trying to figure out your polyamory stuff, start with this one. A lot of people suggest to start with that, and I found it to be really good. I thought it was very good. It explores polyamory from a lot of different angles. Um, Probably more. Oh, I read that one. Dragon. Sin was Mesopotamian god of the moon, while Mani was the Norse god of the moon. Yep. Interesting though, to come back to this, because we, in our modern society or modern witchcraft, we consider the sun to be masculine and the moon to be feminine. You know, the moon is a goddess and everything else. Whereas in the older cultures, again, coming back to the older cultures, the moon was masculine, and the sun, I mean, it was feminine in heathen practice. Sunna, sun is feminine, and it's interesting if we then look at that from the perspective of Lucifer, specifically in terms of Venus, from the Roman aspect, because Lucifer in that context is considered to be the light of Venus. So the sun reflects on the planet Venus, and we see the light, you know, the morning star and the evening star, all of that stuff. But the light that we actually see is considered to be the Lucifer, the light bringer, the bringer of light. Um, so if we actually look at that from the perspective of the sun and the moon reflects the sun's light and is therefore the bringer of light, the light bringer. So it makes perfect sense that, you know, at the end of the day, though, I mean, if we consider these entities to be masculine and feminine, they're not really. We just give them all these genders and, you know, very binary. But yeah. Anyway, that's how that kind of played out. Right. Okay, now everybody's gone quiet again. We're all thinking of questions. Dragon, yes, but this isn't an ordinary question. It's more OCD. Like I said, the monster was first about sexual orientation, then religious fear, then fear of hurting children. Not sure where the hurting children comes in. Now it's this tomorrow. No idea. Okay. Well, it's fine. It's you're questioning. No matter what form it comes in, you're still questioning. So, you know, got to do that. Andrea said, good to be out of the car. There you go. You made it home safe. Bump is still puckered by the inside. Release. Relax. Release the anus. There you go. That's what your Corbis used to tell me. He used to teach me meditations. And the one of the things he used to always say was, it's like sitting there and it's like going through the various different aspects of the meditation. And it was like, relax the anus. First time he said it, I burst out laughing. Oh, what the fuck are you talking about? He says, it's our society. We clench the arse the whole time. That's what we do is clench the arse because we're so uptight. One of the things he always used to say was, relax the anus. And it's true. It is so true. It's unbelievably true. It sounds really weird, but it is. Um, more carumpology, buttock divination method. A funny night tonight. Right, what's the next topic? Dragon, actually, I think all cultures give the gender and form that the environment and people around them influence them. Like in Egypt, where the barren land is Ged, and while the fertile rain fell from Nutef. Yep, that one. Yeah, no, I mean it's true. I mean, we do kind of give these entities gender because that's how society has always seen these things. But you know, I don't know. It's actually kind of a difficult topic if you think about it. They're spirits after all. Um, the one thing I was taught about any spirit, well, taught this in particularly with the archangels, is that they're just balls of energy. We might think of Raphael as being masculine and Javriel as being feminine. Some people consider Javriel to be masculine, but they're not really. They're just balls of energy, genderless energy, in reality. So, but then I guess we are as well. We just have these forms that we interact with. Meat suits. Yeah. Jersey, check out Dystopia if you haven't heard of them. The best punk rock chaos witches I've ever heard. Cool, I will do so. Do follow on that one. Come back to them. And Dystopia. Dystopia. Follow on that one. Alright. Kasim, it's interesting you mentioned spiritual gender because it does exist. If you follow the basic concept of creation, we are created in the image of the gods, so naturally male and female does exist. However, my experience of spirits is that they can switch gender whenever it suits them because, like you say, they are energy. But now take into consideration that there are a variety of different life forms on this planet that do not need gender to reproduce. Um, because we consider ourselves to have been created in the image of the gods, which is actually, yeah, I guess so. Then, because we have meat suits, which we have various body parts, that we have to give that to the gods. I don't know. I mean, let's consider it from the perspective of the gods which created us. It's just a thought experiment. The gods that created us are literally blobs of energy. They are genderless energy, all right? We were created in their image, therefore we are blobs, balls of energy. And we are. That's what we are. If you go into a variety of different traditions, whenever I talk about this, I tend to come back to Toltec, the Toltec warrior path, because they talk about the egg of energy. When you actually see a person in reality, not in consensual reality, which is the consensus that we've all agreed on, but in reality, it's just lines of energy, and it makes this ball, and usually appears as an egg shape, because the person's energy is kind of like a bit low, and it all collects at the bottom because they're not doing, the energy work. But it's a ball of energy, right? Just lines and lines and lines and lines of energy. That's what we are. And then we have this consensus reality, which is the physical reality. This is what I consider to be what a lot of people call the klipa. It's the shell. It's this is the shell. Beneath that is the underworld, right? So in reality, we are balls of energy. We are balls of genderless energy. But we are then give ourselves these physical forms, which we then have particular sexual organs, but that's not got to do with any gender anyway. So, you know, there's a whole big discussion, and I could get myself into a lot of trouble with a lot of people if I start making mistakes when I'm talking about this. But yeah, no, it's something to consider. I know people. There are some people who consider the gods to have gender, and there's no, you know, they have a gender. They are masculine. They are feminine. They are trans. They are non-binary, hermaphroditic, whatever. But they have gender, and we don't give it to them. They just have it, and that's fine. There's a lot of different ways we view these, a lot of different worldviews, and we all have our individual worldviews, how we view these things. So that's absolutely fine. It doesn't mean anybody's right or wrong, but it's as a thought experiment, it's interesting to explore. Dragon, how can we have an astral travel or meet spirits on their realm and remember it? I tend to do journey work, trance journey work, and I do that I start in a meditative pose, so sitting. I use breath and I sometimes use drumming. There is a new thing that I need to try, and I still haven't tried it, is descending shepherd tone. It's brilliant because it just constantly goes down. The tone just keeps going down, but it's like it just keeps going down. It's brilliant. I love it. I need to try that as a trance induction technique. But you induce trance, you continue to induce that trance through breath technique or whatever you're using. So you go deeper and deeper and deeper, and eventually and then you go on a journey. You start picturing yourself walking along a path. Um, you know, going along a path in a meadow or forest or somewhere, something, and you go on this various journey. And as you go deeper and deeper into this liminal state, this between state, you continue the journey in the astral realms, in the underworld, the other worlds, and you continue from there, right? But as you go deeper into a trance, you kind of disconnect from this reality a little more, and you find yourself more immersed in that reality. So it takes practice, takes time. Sometimes you just have one of those days where you just cannot get out your head. It doesn't work, even if you've been doing it for years and years and years. So you know, it's just practice and practice. Andrea, humans like to pigeonhole and put everything into neat little boxes, so it's what I fight against. Yeah, we like to classify. Bevan Walker, I know that what I'll do, I'll write a letter to Julia Carreras. I'll tell her that Lee wants to interview her, but is too shy. And I'll ask her if she would be willing to interview him. Cutting plan. Okay, fine. Andrea, many fish start life as female, then change into males. Well, we do as human beings. We're all female. So we get that one. What's it? The chromosome thingy. I'm not a scientist or biologist, so I also get what's what. But we all start out as female. So yeah. Greenfly aphids start life having daughters at Virginia births. That thing. Jono, have a great week, everyone. Cheerio. Bye bye. Oh, my voice is breaking at 54. Bevan spirit's gender is electric and magnetic energy, isn't it? I don't really know. I know. Processing. No, I wouldn't. I don't. I'm not. There may be an interpretation of that you're kind of hooking onto that I'm not getting. So, but I'm not really. I'm not really putting that together. No. Andrea Bar. Dragon, do spirits have sexual desires and patience? I believe they do. Yes. I mean, looking into myths, regarding sexual desires. I mean, yeah, sure. You go into the myths, they fuck like rabbits most of the time. Look at Zeus. It's the simplest one to go to in this regard. Just look at Zeus. Go and explore Zeus and his sexual escapades with hundreds and hundreds of human women and various different gods and demigods and everything else. Yeah. Patience, yes, I do believe they can have. I think you'll find that they're a bit different to all their reactions, their interactions are a bit different to humans. We tend to be a very impatient species, um, but their time is different for them. So I don't really know if we can even call it patience. It's because time moves differently. It's just a different experience for them than it is for us. They don't become impatient because they've got no reason to become impatient. So probably in that regard, regarding patience, it's probably got to do with the time aspect, I'd say. Um, Jersey, we all start female in the womb. Yep, absolutely. Black magic. I use bell tones to clear the bioenergetic form. With Egyptian incantations, bring me to psychic mediumship levels. Oh, you mean for doing journey work, astral projection and stuff? Yeah, I'm not much of a dreamer myself, so I do tend to fall into the do it through trance induction techniques. Bobby Mordka, balls tones. Where did that come from? Bell tones, not ball stones. Cthulhu, hello. Does anyone here use a witch's bell on your front door? I don't. I probably know people who do, but I haven't really spoken about it. No. Black magic sigil on my front door instead. Dragon, I asked because I'm also afraid of losing my sexual desires and prowess. Okay. Right. What would that have to do with the spirits anyway? Hmm. Castle, I did Cthulhu, or to keep bad spirits out of my house. There you go. Castle uses a witch's spell. Dragon, I think that Bobby Walker asks is in regards to Franz Barden, electric and magnetic forces described in the astral in his book. Was that what you were talking about, Bobby Walker? Spirit's gender is electric and magnetic energy. Okay. I can't remember that specific aspect of Franz Barden's teachings. I mean, they do have an electric and magnetic force to their energy, yes. I wouldn't call it sexual, though. I can't connect that with the sexual aspect. I think it was sexual you were asking about. I don't know. Oh, sorry, the gender aspect. Yeah, I can't connect that with the gender. Um, that's not kind of the two aren't going together for me. Dragon wins flawless victory. Don't do fatality on me. There you go. Guess I feel a bit embarrassed to ask, but can you repeat what you said about the energy and gender, please? My internet went off when you were discussing it. Sorry. No, don't worry about it. Don't feel embarrassed. Let me try and remember what I was saying. I think it was in regards to um oh yeah, like I think we were talking about a thought experiment, weren't we? Let me just check. Yeah, it was kind of a thought experiment I was putting across. That if we are created in the image of the gods, then consider that the gods are just balls of genderless energy, okay? And we are created in their image because if you look at a human being as they really are, and I tend to come back to the aspect of Toltec warrior path when I'm thinking about this. Um, when a person is actually seen for what they really are, taking away all of the skin and the shell and everything else, they're a ball of energy. It's just lines and lines and lines and lines, millions of lines of energy, which then extend out and connect to everything else. Um, Very similar to if you watched the last, I think it was the last one or the second one, The Matrix, where he goes blind and they go to the machine world and he can still see because he sees all the lines of energy which keep flowing everywhere and connecting everything everywhere. Kind of similar to that kind of concept. So that's reality. Then the reason we have these meat suits and the skin and everything else is through consensual reality. So it's a consensus, it's an agreement that we have with each of everybody that exists. We have this, we create this consensus, this construct, which is what we see, the physical appearance, the skin, the shell. But this is the shell. Underneath the shell is the underworld, the other world. But this is what gives us the body parts, the different sexual organs. But that again doesn't relate to gender because what body parts you have or what sexual organs you have doesn't really have anything to do with gender. So we've got to also be wary of that. But yeah, I was kind of giving it as a thought experiment because there's so many different ways we can view this and look at it, and different worldviews we can experience and experiment with this. It's something we need to think about. Where do we fit? What's our idea? Mine is that the spirits are genderless. In the same context, you've got witchcraft is full of paradox. So you've got the paradox of the myths where they do have gender because they have sex. They are considered to be he and him and them and everybody else. Um, yeah, so the paradox of all things that are. Uh, Castle like wind chimes. Oh, to keep away bad spirits. Yeah, that's the noise. Andrea, loss of libido is liberating. I've actually, there's been a couple of people this past week or week or two that have mentioned that they're scared of losing their libido or their sexual energy or something as they get older. I don't think it's something to be scared of. But yeah. Black magic, loss of libido is to lose the connection with the unconscious mind, which feeds it to create individuation. That's very complex. That's quite deep, actually. Jersey, one of Rudimentary P&I's albums was written while lead singer Nick Blinko was in a mental institution. Oh, I could believe that as well. Oh, what the hell was that band's name? Oh shit, wait. I'm gonna go find it now. I saw the other day that Jello Biafra from Dead Kennedys actually produced an album with a different band. I was listening to the band, and all of a sudden, Jello Biafra came on, and I'm like, that's not right. That's weird. What has happened to all of my stuff on here? Oh, there it is. I don't know if I've saved it. Ah, yes, it was a band called DOA. the album is Last Scream of the Missing Neighbors. Really good. I like Dead Kennedys. So yeah, I like Jello Biafra. Oh God, backside's getting sore. Um, yeah, but worth a listen. Really good. Where was I? Dragon. Cthulhu is a scary eldritch being, so using him to keep other scary things out works like Pazuzu for Assyrians and Stingy Jack for the Celts. Yeah, except Cthulhu's just an egregoric construct. You know, it's fiction. It just doesn't mean the egregore is not real, but I guess so. Yeah, from an egregoric perspective, sure. Black Magic, Dr. Cole G. Young. What was that in relationship now? See, it's when you drop these like little seeds of wisdom and stuff, and I don't know where it's associated with. Sorry. Cthulhu, I'm not scary, Dragon. Yes. Our Cthulhu is a very cuddly octopus. Kasim, thanks Lee for the explanation. Appreciate it. It's a pleasure. Also, are we saying the Eldritch horrors exist? I know Kenneth Grant believed they did. He did, absolutely. No, they don't. They exist in an egregoric aspect. If you actually go into Cthulhu mythos, but the Necronomicon, that particular tradition that has been created, it's a very psychological type of thing. It works with archetypes um, that are representations of your psyche and things like that. So you work with your psyche. It's not working with these gods that are on the outskirts of the universe and all that stuff. Andrea, black magic, I disagree. It can be very freeing. Bobby Morka, I'm frustrated waiting for the Polish version of Kelvin's book. Do some magic to make the premiere faster. Is it on the cards? Is he doing it? Just ask him. Write to him, ask him when the translations come out. I know that Matt Oren has just got translations galore of all different um, places in the world. I think Keldon and him are friends, so it's probably going the same route. Let me just check. If Keldon's book is published by Llewellyn, then probably will. Let's have a look. Keldon. No, not that Keldon. Keldon Mercury. Yes, that's Keldon. Yeah. Uh, yeah, I'll have a look. Dragon. I'm also scared of aging, losing my faculties, and dying. That's a scary thing. I am as well. Don't worry. But you get to a point where it becomes an inevitability, and you have to face it. I'm kind of in that stage where I'm just, I can still do everything I could do when I was 25, and realizing I can't. But oh, it was Llewellyn. So yeah, translation might come out soon. Andrea, Alistair has just joined the conversation. Hello. You mentioned Shallow Forever. Bevan Walker, death is not that scary. Dying is. Yes. Yes. That's true. Castle, just give me Black Widow sacrifice if I'm doing trans magic. Okay. Sounds interesting. Dragon and yes, Cthulhu, I know you can be nice and fluffy. Oops, right. Black magic. You are free talking set. I'm talking high-level psychology and loss of libido can create loss of self. Read Cole Young if you haven't. Okay. Cthulhu. Anyone here recommends some ambient dark meditation music? I don't know any. I listen to Pure Tones, and no, I don't know if you were here just now. I mentioned something that I need to actually experiment with, which you might find interesting. Is it's called Descending Shepherd Tone. It's brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. It just constantly goes down, constantly, doesn't stop. For like an hour, the tone just keeps going down. It's brilliant. I love it. I love tones. G-Labs, is it possible to get possessed by these entities, invoke them? How does one do that? Yes, it is. Not something I would recommend for anybody who is not advanced in practice. And if you're asking that question, I'm gonna guess you're not there yet, because that's kind of like a question you kind of don't need to ask. You kind of progress into it. Um, but it's a case of giving up control. You know, you call the entity in, you give up control, you give them permission to take over, and it can be partial possession or it can be full possession. If you're working with a group and you want them to ask questions and get answers, you might want to consider doing full possession, in which case you won't remember anything. You go off somewhere else and you have a conversation with the entity uh, by yourself, while the group is asking questions and getting answers. But it's a very, I think it's a very specialized area. There aren't, not everybody can do it. I find it very difficult to give up control. Um, so, it's not something I would do myself. Bavy Mordka, invoke, convoke, or evoke. That's Everybody has their own little interpretations of this. Not what convoke is now. Call together or summon. I don't really think I wouldn't say we convoke. We invoke and evoke, and petition, and what's the other one? Comes with an A. Can't remember. But evoke basically is to stir up. So evocation is usually considered to be calling in the energy into space. But you stir up the energy is what evoke is. But to invoke is then taking it inwards or placing it in something. So you see a lot of people would say that if you're working with a talisman, you evoke the energy and you put it into the talisman. I would say you invoke the energy because you're putting it into something. But yeah, then invoke becomes uh, bringing the energy into yourself. But there are a lot of people who don't like the word evocation, because it's used a lot in the grimoires to describe what the exorcist does, and they consider it to be disrespectful. Therefore, they only use the word invoke, and for all of those things. And then they might use the word possession or something like that. So, yeah, it's not one of those things we can really give a definitive answer on. Castle, what I work with Cthulhu, I'd say no in my part, but I can look for you. Now I've completely lost the plot of that one. I don't know what that was in response to. Oh, it's probably the ambient dark meditation. Yeah, if you've got any recommendations, just let us know. Black magic, that's what I've been saying. Archetypes. Yeah. Oops. Okay, there we are. The thing with the archetypes is there seems to be two different interpretations of archetypes. Is some people consider archetype to be aspects of the psyche, whereas it's one interpretation I used for a long time. Uh, Understood it to be like the mold. Like you have, I've spoken about this before, like you have the horn gods. So you have all different horn gods, Pan, Canunos, Hern, um, etc., etc., etc. So you have all these horn gods, right? But they're all different. But they all come from a horn god mold, and they kind of emerge from that, and then they split off into their various different cultures and everything else. But that mold is the archetype. If we consider, let's see if we can get a good definition. Let's have a look. Let's do some study. We like to study. An archetype is, no, it's AI. I don't like AI. Hang on. A very typical example of a certain person or thing. Let's see more. See more. Um, that a very typical example of a certain person or thing also extends into an original which has been imitated. Prototype. Prototype. That's a good word. Prototype. In Jungian theory, a primitive mental image inherited from the earliest human ancestors and supposed to be present in the collective unconscious. That would also refer to a prototype, if I'm not mistaken. And then three, a recurrent symbol or motive in literature, art, or mythology. Mythological archetypes of good and evil. It's kind of a concept then. Yeah, so I'm not really sure we can actually apply archetype to the idea that they are just aspects of our own psyche. They are the prototype. Anyway, uh, I'm I'm really behind on the comments. Hang on, let me try and catch up. Andrea Dragon, no need to be afraid. It's all a natural process and balance. Aging isn't too bad. I just turned 60 and my head is still 17 years young. Body isn't though. I know, mine isn't. Castle, I saw the man riding the dragon with a snake in his right hand last night. My dream made me very happy. Nice. Which one's that? Because there's actually one in the Goetia spirits that. Oh, I think it's riding a horse with a serpent in his right hand. Yeah, not sure. Cthulhu. I think you did a video on the Cthulhu last year. Oh yeah, yeah. Because I remember asking if you thought beings like that could exist. Did he tap into a world we don't know about? So yeah, I did it was part of the past series about Lovecraftianism. But no, he didn't actually. I've actually had this checked out. He wasn't a prophet. So really, it was pure fiction. He just made that up. A lot of it actually came from, I believe, I might have this wrong, so don't quote me. I believe it was trauma based from abuse, but also from the what his dreams produced. But he didn't tap into a world. A lot of people believe he did, but he was not a prophet. So no, he did not. Um, Again, lots and lots of people will argue with me about that, especially those who like their Kenneth Grant. But no. Castor Astroth is a wonderful demon fun to work with. Yeah, I like Astroth. A lot of people consider Astroth and Astarte to be this very same entity. I did go and ask Astarte about this, kind of like two masks, and I prefer the Astarte aspect myself. um, Andrew at Castle, you sound deeply connected. Awesome dream. Kasim, here is a thought experiment, but what if H.P. Lovecraft is Cthulhu? When he's in a soul, so to say. He did create the creature after all. Yeah, well, yeah, this is why we have to then talk about egregores. There's an entire tradition that came out of this. You know, I forget the guy's real name, but he called himself Simon when he wrote it. The original Necronomicon. I mean, Lovecraft did not write the Necronomicon. There was no book. He spoke about the Necronomicon, this book within his fiction, but he never ever wrote the Necronomicon. That came years and years and years later. That was in the 70s. I think the first one was actually written by Simon. And then you've had variations. I mean, the Simon Necronomicon also included a lot of Sumerian gods. So it's just a mishmash of stuff and just all invented, all created, all thought up, imagined. Um, but out of that, there's a whole tradition that's come out of that. So yes, we've got egregores, and they're quite real. We can't forget that. Um, yeah, was he Cthulhu? Interesting. Casso, I am Andrea. I pray your condition is getting better. On your and Alistair as well. Cthulhu. I actually have a Cthulhu plush doll next to my bed. They're cool. I actually wanted to start getting a load of Cthulhu stuff and reselling it because they're really cool. Kasim, kind of like Clive Barker with Pinhead. Yeah. Oh no, Clive Barker. If you ever ask me who my favorite horror writer is, fantasy horror writer, it's Clive Barker. I love his mind. It's just so fucked up. He's amazing. He really is. I mean, the first Clive Barker book I ever read was Weave World. Whoa, that converted me. That was brilliant. And I love, oh man, yeah. Sorry, yeah, going off on a tangent. Andrea at Castle, thank you very much. Really well today. Okay, G Labs. The reason I asked is because demons do the work I ask them to do when I do the ritual. However, after I'm done, the effects dissipate. I want them to finish the job. The reason I asked about possession invoking. So you don't need to do possession work for this. What you'll probably find is to keep calling them, keep immersing yourself in their vibration, which after a period of time will cause your own energetic frequency to start resonating with that frequency. And that's what gets the job done. So you bring your own self into resonance with the vibrational state or frequency of the spirit you're working with. That's not the same as possession work. That's more evocation. You are surrounding yourself, you're enveloping yourself in that energy. So try approach it from that perspective. Andrea, lusting, not listing. Duh. Okay. I don't know what that was about. Andrea, provoke. You could provoke them. Yes, they might get a bit upset with you though. Sai. Oh man, I just skipped. Sai, hello, Sai. Complete starter pack here. I remember you recommended meditation for beginners. How long, how frequent should I try it, and how do I know I'm ready? How long and how frequent depends on what time you have available, but you can start off with 1 minute each day. It's about consistency. It's about mid-month, November. There's going to be a video about neuroplasticity, which you might find quite interesting. So neuroplasticity, to give it simplistic terms, is rewiring your brain. And that happens through consistency. So even if you do 5 minutes meditation every single day, and especially if you do it at the same time every day in the same place, you start to rewire things in your brain, and this starts to create a reality. You co-create your reality, right? Um, so it's about frequency. Consistently doing it at the same time every day, over and over and over again. And the time, how long you do it, is completely up to you. As I said, you can start with 1 minute, start with 5 minutes. If you have time to do 20 minutes, great. If you have time to do half an hour, great. But you might want to build yourself up. Start with 5 minutes, keep adding a little bit more time here and there. But yeah, so the length has some value to it. It has some reasons why you might want to do longer periods of meditation, but the main thing is consistency. Okay. How do you know you're ready? Do you want to know if you how you know you're ready to start meditation, or yeah, that's the only ready part I can think there. You are always ready. Um, there's no like right time to start meditation. Just do it. Get into it, start doing it. And also remember there's a lot of different methods to meditation. It's not always just a case of just sitting down and being silent. There's a lot of different ways you can meditate. So you might need to experiment. If you do suffer from autism or ADHD and I'll say suffer, that's a bad word. Um, but if you do have autism, ADHD, etc., 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 then you might find that just sitting down and trying to be silent is not going to work for you. There's a lot of different ways you can do this, so you're going to have to start exploring, right? But when do you know you're ready? Just do it. Really it. If you're asking when do you know you're ready to stop meditation, there is no time to stop meditation. It's something you carry on doing because it forms the basis of everything within magic. So just keep doing it for the rest of your life. There's no time to stop. Okay. Hope that answers that question. Zanka Cthulhu, try Lustmore. Lustmord. What's Lustmord? Lustmord. New words. I like new words. Is this okay. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna keep that on there because I want to also listen to some dark ambient meditation music. He's a Welsh musician, sound designer, and composer. Ooh, thank you. Castle, letting Astaroth and Santa Muerte possess me was a good experience, but then channeling and having them leave me was easy. Yeah, it's what I say. You've got to kind of build up to that point. You've got to know what you're doing. It's not something you kind of like, straight out the gates. You kind of go, okay, well, let's get into possession work. It's something you definitely got to build up to and become progress towards. It's probably the right way to say it. And then it is, and if you can give up the control and everything else, and it is a very meaningful, it's an incredible experience. Dragon, is there a benevolent supreme will in the universe that guards and guides us? I don't know about a supreme will, but the your guard and guide is your own. I call it the fetch beast. Other people just refer to it as fetch, and they don't split between the fetch beast and the fetch main. But yeah, I consider it to be the fetch beast. Some people would consider that to be the familiar. But the fetch beast is your own personal. It's part of your soul. It's one of those fragments of your soul. It's your personal animal self. And you ride it into the underworld with you, and it guards and protects you, and acts as a guide. So maybe look into that aspect because it is you. But then you've also got your ancestors. They're going to guard and guide you. So they're also very good. Bobby Wardker. I have to bring today to an end just now. Getting way over time. I remembered something. Lynn Brandwood is the avoidable author. Labyrinth Walking the Radiant Path. Oh, Thomas Colson, I would avoid. He's a Nazi. Talks about Vril, very Nazi concept. Oh, I mean, it wasn't originally, but it made its way into the whole Nazi white supremacist thing. Lynn Brandwood. Let's come up with all different people. Labyrinth, King, the Radiant. Oh. Jersey said Dagon is from Mesopotamia. Yep. Oh, no, it skipped. Hold on. So yeah, it's all real. He had prophetic dream, and who's to say that Egor haven't been created from his creatures? It was based on Book of the Dead. But Dagon wasn't originally part of the Necronomicon, as far as I know. Dagon's is a Mesopotamian god. It was actually a fish god, fisherman. Just Labyrinth, Walking the Radiant Path, not even on Amazon by the looks of it. I don't know. I haven't heard of Lynn. I haven't heard of that one. All right, let's carry on. Andrea Weave World is equals awesome. I have a friend who's a mate. Oh, I'm jealous. Name drop, name drop. Oh goodness. Yeah. I think he's brilliant. I really do. Cthulhu. Maybe we are gods, egregore, and we only exist in his/her mind. It's very hermetic thinking, but yeah, absolutely, quite a possibility. It's one worldview. I'm sure somebody holds that. Castle Love Book of the Dead at Jersey Shore. Followed the 42 assessors is a good thing to follow in life. Furby Mortal. Is that supposed to be AI? We are AI, our gods. Also a possibility. We are creating AI at the moment. It's very early. It's like baby stages at the moment. But a lot of people consider that, it's just been creation after creation after creation after creation, and we are the creation of an AI, an advanced AI before us, and we are now the advanced AI, and we are creating AI. So it's a worldview. There's lots and lots of worldviews. Cthulhu, that's we can't find God because we can't travel outside its mind. Don't do shrooms thinking about stuff. Yeah, don't do that. But yeah, what if you are God? And all the conversations that we are having in this chat today is in your mind. So I am an egregore within your mind because you are the ultimate powerful force and creator of all things. What if that's the situation? What if we are all individual entities, but we are different expressions of the same being, all of us, which is the egg theory or something. There's just so many different ways you can look at it. Sai said, sorry, I meant to ask how to know I'm ready to start conducting rituals. Oh, there's not really any kind of like definite, you are ready. You have progressed from that level to this level. I think the thing is to do the foundational work. So, you know, do the meditation, which will help you with trance work, which will help you with concentration and focus, visualization, all of those aspects that are required within magic and within ritual. Um, and then at the same time, foundational work also includes things like cleansing and protection. So that involves, quite often, involves doing ritual. So, you can start from the get-go, from the beginning. Do a cleansing ritual. Do a spiritual bath. Set up wards. Start learning sigil magic, and if you're interested in chaos magic, for instance, start doing sigil magic and creation of servitors which can act as wards and protectors. Start to explore all of this stuff. So you've got your cleansing and protection stuff. If you want to start working with spirits, I would suggest working with ancestors, and that's also going to be ritual work. Um, so start learning how to speak with spirits by speaking with the ancestors. And that's your safest bet. They're the best ones to work with because they love you so much. Um, so go for it. A lot of foundational work is ritual work, is magic. Um, so steam on ahead. Um, Andrea, mushrooms help neuroplasticity. I'm sure they do. Um, I mean, just thinking of the network of mushrooms themselves. Yeah, I could definitely see it actually. Bavimorka, try with Sideric Cosmogram and ask AI about interpretation. Why? I don't even know what you're talking about. Yeah, no. And don't ask AI for interpretation. I love AI. I think AI is fantastic, but don't rely on it for answers. If you don't know the answer yourself, because you're gonna get led far astray. Castle, just let go when the inner smile comes on and orbits start. Everything becomes easy and dying. You learn to let go. Okay, there you go. All right, I'm going to bring this to an end today because it's getting late. It's starting to get past my bedtime. I'm bloody hungry. So I'm just going to finish up this chat and then bring it to a close. Cthulhu, I'm done with psychedelics. Doesn't show me anything new. Doesn't show me real spirits, just delusions and psychosis. Well, this is the thing with using entheogens, psychedelics, etc., etc., hallucinogens, blah blah blah, is that they are used as a tool to get you there, to kind of get you over the fence type of thing. But once you're over the fence, don't keep doing it. It's not. Then it becomes a crutch, and then it becomes illusion and delusion and everything else. So once you're over the fence, once you've broken those barriers, then explore by yourself. Trance work and all that stuff. This is why I've never ever relied on entheogens in my practice at all. I think they're interesting. I think you can get a lot of benefit from them. But I've just always gone the route of do it myself. It might be a longer route, but it's more rewarding for me. Andrea, my fetch totem is Red Horse Dancing, Meta during Astral Travel and Sweat Lodge, incredible experience. Castle, it shows you are truly free, and Andrea not letting go shows you materialistic greedy. So everyone here had a great time. Everyone here has been awesome. See you next time. Cheerio, you've probably gone by now, but anyway, hope you have a good week. G-Labs, how do you conclude a battle with a pest and the person who won't stop attacking? Any protection methods that work, or is the reality that it has to be the end of his life? Wards and barriers and shields. And one thing you might want to try and consider is doing something which will move that person's attention to something else besides you. Give them a different project to give their attention to. It's just annoyance. But you can do things like freeze them. Yeah, no, bury them. Just bury them. If they don't stop, and you just keep battling to stop it with wards and everything else. It's a pain in the ass. But Alexis, hello Alexis. I've noticed some spirits don't mean to help us resolve issue for once and for all, even if possible, and then leave. It's like they do half job to keep the relationship and us being dependent. I don't know, maybe you're viewing that in the I'm not dependent on anything. I think that's a very important lesson. You you don't need the spirits to do magic. You don't need the spirits to help you with anything in life. You can do it all yourself. You have the power yourself. You don't need to rely on anything external. Um, and maybe that's the lesson here, is that you don't need them. So, they may get to the point where they then leave because you've got enough to carry on yourself, but you're not carrying on yourself. You're relying on them too much. So maybe come back to, maybe explore that. But you need to rely on yourself more than you are. And that might be their lesson. I would say that. I would say that's what's going on there. Andrea, great to see you. Sulu, so we are the conduit to get the work of magic done. You are correct. Yeah. Andrea, yep, they're here to help us help ourselves. Alexis, Ancestors' work is very good, but sometimes it's difficult to get hold of their spirits. Just keep doing the work, especially with the ancestors. I mean, I say good morning and give offerings every single day to my ancestors and then to the devil. The specific spirits that I kind of do daily work with, and the ancestors are one of them. Some okay, good chat as always. Have a good one. Cheerio, cheerio to Stanka, and good night, Alexis. And Kessel, Morka AI is interesting when it comes to interpreting a sidereal cosmogram. You can learn interesting things about important weaknesses we have, even if it's not true. It's better to be safe than sorry. If it's not true, I'd say you venturing into the arena of sorry, not safe. Because that's what starts bringing on delusions and psychosis. Especially AI, because AI will always agree with you. If you tell AI that no, it got it wrong, it's this, it's probably going to say, oh yes, you are right, because you are the master. And it's a very dangerous thing. Very dangerous thing. Richard, good night. Andrea, good night. Lavale, hello. These last days, a lot of babies are going missing. They found some without organs with sigils. Can you explain? No, I can't explain. I don't know what you're talking about. Sorry. And you've said it 3 times now. I've got no idea what that is about. I'll have to go check the news. Dragon, I've lost a lot of people. Are they present in the other side, watching and guarding us? Quite possibly. Probably, I would say so. Depends who they are. I mean, if they are good people and they impacted your life, then they become your ancestors. Saturn, hello. What is a good demon that can help with fostering the character to obtain any goals? I would actually work with your fetch for that. And gain familiars. That's going to be your best bet. And also, talking about fetch, you start to also explore the personal daimon or holy guardian angel, all that stuff. Um, so I would go in that direction. Andrea Lavelle sounds like BS. Where was this? Not Algeria. Yeah, I'm sorry, I haven't heard anything regarding that, so I can't really tell you. I can't explain. I don't know. Bevin Walker, my AI is argue with me about magic. My AI tends to argue with me as well. When I told it was wrong, it told me I was wrong, but I knew it was wrong. It depends how it's been programmed as well. Good night. Oh yeah, I'm gonna go now. I'm gonna bring today to an end. Bevin Walker, me, can I do X? AI, no, because in your chart, etc., etc. No, don't rely on AI to read charts, please. It's really bad. It really is bad. Um, don't just don't do it, please. I know you're going to carry on doing it, but I'm telling you not to do it. Anyway, Saturn, how to get over the fear of the unknown when invoking demons, especially how they appear. Well, they appear like humans to me, so I don't really have that problem. If you want to overcome the fear, you've got to face it. It's just a case of facing the fear. And once you've faced it, you realize how ridiculous the fear usually was. Especially because that type of fear is actually based on Western Christianized interpretations of what demons are. Demons are just different spirits. We talk about working with the gods and the goddesses all the time. As soon as demons comes up, all of a sudden it's these oogie boogie spirits which are evil and want to do us harm because we've brought across this idea that this Christian idea, but Christians don't know what they're talking about. They're just spirits, particular spirits. And when we're talking about demons, we're usually talking about the spirits of the Solomonic grimoires. Um, and I find a lot of them to be quite nice to work with. And they don't. If you are expecting them to appear horrific and fearful, that's what you're going to see. That's what it actually boils down to. So just face it, and then as soon as you face it, you'll find that the mask will drop and you'll see what it's really about. Okay. Right, so I'm going to go. Have a good one. Sorry, Lavelle, I've got to go. I've been on for 2.5 hours now. You did ask if there is a connection between quantum physics and witchcraft. There definitely is. You'll find that a lot of what they're talking about in quantum physics are things which have been spoken about in witchcraft for millennia. Um, they're definitely pushing the boundaries and experimenting in quantum physics. Quantum entanglement, where a thing can be in two places at once by location. We've been talking about that for a long, 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 long time. So yeah, quantum physics is actually a good area to study, to multiple worlds and etc. etc. Right? Yeah. So anyway, I'm going to go, and